Everything from clothing to household items are getting more expensive each day. American Giant is about keeping things simple and close to home. They aren't affected by tariffs because their products never leave the U.S. Support American-made, tariff-free clothing with American Giant. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code STAPLE20 at american-giant.com. That's 20% off when you use code STAPLE20 at american-giant.com.
Welcome back to Used to Sew, a podcast about sewing machines, sewing history, and sewing culture in the past and present. I am your producer and co-host Aradia, daughter of your main host, T.R. Kelly, who is here today to talk to you about the documentary film Still Stitching. This is a fantastic vintage sewing machine info dump from 8 different enthusiasts, and we just want to talk about how much fun we had watching it. Even the advertisements included on the DVD merit discussion, either because they were good at making us want to spend money, they were very creative, or explained a process that we found interesting. According to TR, most of the history and lore in this film is correct, but we aren't really here to fact check. We're here just to admire the breadth and depth of knowledge and the collections that these 8 very interesting people bring to the discussion of vintage sewing machines. We also had a good time listening to the audio of this film, which was created with the same loving attention to detail as the photography. If you take nothing else away from this episode, let it be that this movie is very worth buying and watching on repeat for all the pretty, pretty, pretty machines and their purring machinery. We can't begin to do it justice here, but we are going to try.
Today on Used to Sew, we are so psyched to talk about this video that we found. I found it somewhere on one of the million zillion sewing forums that I pop in and out of, and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. It's a DVD, and it's called Still Stitching. 8 collectors and restoration specialists share their passion for classic all-metal machines. Does this sound like what we do here, or what?
It's our people. Let me just tell you, this is our people.
We watched this together last night in full blazing color. Oh my God. I hate to use the word porn because whatever, but sewing machine porn.
Truly.
Yeah.
Truly.
Oh my gosh.
So many gorgeous machines and just loving photography, being like the curves, the styling,
the colors, the sounds, the interesting people. I was like, these are my people. We were both thinking, uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We got some serious nerdage going on here. I just want to read this blurb off the back here. More than 100 minutes of history, gorgeous machines, and interviews. And they have 8 really interesting people here. Pictures are on the back. And the age range is in gender balance. I mean, it's amazing how many people are into sewing machines. Vintage sewing machines, this is from the package, represent a bygone era of meticulously crafted all-metal machinery, a time when America and other industrious nations built durable classic machines to be passed down from generation to generation. Still Stitching explores the profound impact of the sewing machine, not only for stitching, but also in terms of patent law, consumer credit, and other sometimes forgotten historical relevance. Dozens of lovely machines and technical features are discussed, from the days of intense competition among early manufacturers to the explosion of Japanese models, mid-century. The history of these powerful beauties is as deep as the passion shared by countless collectors, enthusiasts, restoration specialists, and those who continue to sew on vintage models. This is copyright 2015, so it's, not that the machines are getting any less old.
It's all very relevant. And I mean, if you've listened to that description, they talk about what we talk about, right? The profound impact that the machines had above and beyond. I mean, consumer credit and patent law. We've talked about those things on here. We're going to continue to. Like, it was from the jump, I knew this was going to be like perfect for this podcast. And yeah, those 100 minutes did not disappoint.
Oh, not at all. I found myself leaning forward, open-mouthed, forgetting to drink tea. Like, oh, look at that one. And then filling in, for one example, they show a 301 and the person is saying, this is the 301, often called, and I fill in, the big sister of the featherweight, because duh, it is. I mean, these people know all the catchphrases and the words. There is, just like myself here, there were some facts that weren't quite right, or some myths that were being repeated that have since been disproven. I'm not going to say who said what or whatever, but the love and the passion and the excitement, and I'm sure these people are like myself, would welcome corrections and clarifications because we love the machines. It's not about us and what we know or whatever. And it's fairly a recent interest and hobby among people, and they talk about that here, that especially you millennials are starting to want to reclaim the crafts and skills and things that my parents learned, 70s, 80s, you know, the consumerist thing, as we've talked about, fast fashion. But a lot of kids, I mean, it sounds like Portlandia, we can ferment this. But yeah, people want to make their own stuff again for reasons we've talked about, and they want to do it. I just want to segue hard off, boinging off the wall here into the terrible story that one of the sewing machine repairmen in the video said about the kids, the adult children all got together and took mom's sewing machine and took it away and traded it in. And Christmas morning, she came into her sewing room and there was a new modern machine, and that was not a good thing.
Like truly, that was the only thing that made me upset in the whole thing.
I have some tales of sales that echo that story as we get on into the podcast. But yeah, that was and that was the same guy, I think, that he flipped over two machines and showed us the guts of them inside. An old one, he flipped it over and said, look at all this metal here. And then he flipped over a new one, and it was all this molded plastic with belts and plastic pulleys and stuff.
Yeah, getting to see those together was like, wow.
Oh, wow. And as he turned the plastic one, you could see the body flex. They were talking about why those old ones have to be heavy and the amount of iron and things that are moving around. So nobody in this video last night actually said planned obsolescence, but they were all showing it and aware of it.
They were all talking
they just
around
didn't say
it.
the words. Yeah. And they just showed a lot of my personal favorite machines. The Davis vertical feed, for Pete's sake.
Oh, yeah. That one's so cool.
Oh, my gosh. And the Wilcox and Gibbs chain stitch. You showed that one. The little C-shaped one. Oh, I love those. I don't have that.
And that boot making one with the thing that where the entire like needle part could rotate around, so that way you could change the direction of the stitching without changing with the position of the item. Like, I didn't know they could do that. I didn't know they could do that.
I just got one of those this year. That's the Singer 29, the cobbler patcher. I got the very first one, the very first type. I got the Singer 29 UFA. It's called Universal Feed Arm. Because, the stitching head is what rotates and the fabric can stay still. It's the trippiest thing. I'm still missing one part, but I have gotten the whole thing unlocked and rotating with the help of my brother. This machine that I got dates from 1874, and it actually could have sewed Wyatt Earp's cowboy boots. But yeah, they demonstrated that one in the video. They had a Rocketeer. That name was never applied to that machine when it first came out. That is named after the Rocketeer movie that came out in, I think, the 80s.
So it's an anachronistic name.
Yeah, it's a nickname that's been added later. The machine was called the Slant-O-Matic because everything in 1960 was an O-Matic. Slant-O-Matic. The new Singer 500A Slant-O-Matic.
It's like a joke, but it's so sincere.
Oh my God. And if you've seen that machine, the pugilistic stance, the tail fins, the two-tone styling, the plethora of knobs and dials, it was a Cadillac. It really was.
Oh yeah, no, it carried itself with grandiose energy.
Oh, it does look like the Rocketeer, but the person in the video was presenting it as if it had that name from the beginning, and it did not. That was But that's what everybody calls it. If you go into any sewing machine nerd group and go, I've got a Rocketeer, 508 slant-o-matic, oh boy! And they were actually taking the tops off the machines and pointing out how things worked in the video, which is very cool. Good camera work. No annoying music.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate. There was no music.
There was just a little bit of music for the intro and the outro, which was nice because it let you know like where you were at in the arc of the story. Once the music kicked in at the end, I was like, we're wrapping up because there's been no music the whole time. Yeah.
The sounds of the different machines were really well demonstrated. I mean, you could hear a featherweight.
Yeah, they had good Foley. Very good Foley.
Good Foley. And just good photography.
Yeah.
Good, as a person who is a little hard of hearing, having good, clear dialogue was great. I don't know, like, this video, who's this put out by? This is put out by New Savvy Productions, newsavvyproductions.com, and Quilters, and then it has a couple of sponsors, which the ads were just...
so that was the other fun thing.
Fun.
So you open the DVD up and it's like there's the big play button, but then there's 3 other things, and 2 of them were listed as sponsors on the back and the third one was not. But those were actually very, very cool. I mean, yes, they were ads, but like they were very interesting and or funny and or informational.
Oh, yeah. Definitely watch the ads. Quilter's Stash Box. Oh, if it was, I was like, where's my credit card? I want to order that.
Oh, yeah. Nope. Do not watch the Quilter Stash Box one. You will lose money. Money will actively crawl out of your wallet and like crawl into the computer and go away. But then the Aurifil one, the thread advertisement.
It
was your basic cheesy, like cutesy craft fair kind of thing. These women are throwing the thread to each other and saying what they like about it on and off camera. It's very cute, very standard. And then the last one was this guy on a beach with this lifeguard just like being this like Ken doll arm candy in the background, and like they made this very forced analogy about the quality of thread to the quality of lifeguarding, and like it was the funniest, most random ending.
It was very like,
it was amazing.
God, this is so charmingly cheesy. I loved it.
It was perfect.
I'll try it. Sure.
It was perfect.
The Quilt Box ad is basically a subscription thing where you get quilt stuff every month, all this stuff. And this is what blew me away. This, like, they know their audience because you can reuse the boxes to store things.
That part.
And they were showing
that. Was the part where I reached for my wallet. When they were like, and then the box is perfectly designed to hold your stuff. I'm like, shut up and take my money. I just want the box. I am a cat.
Well, no doubt. But what they showed putting in the boxes was cut out quilt projects and patches and things. So it's like, and then we go on to the video and there's pretty much everybody's space, because they show these people in their workshops and stuff, are very organized.
They are all very organized, yeah.
The one lady that had all the beautiful colored Japanese machines, and she was thinking about making a museum out of them.
Oh,
she had them on the shelf there.
Yeah, that beautiful home museum.
Those were pretty. Her whole room there, and she had the vintage suitcases too. I'm like, I just want to go in there.
And she had the old vases that were all filled with buttons in different colors.
Yes!
I was just like, I could stare at your walls all day.
This movie is a visual treat. And if you're interested in vintage sewing machines or you should have this video. I think it was $20 or $25.
And then the third video, I'm going to talk about the third ad.
Yeah.
The third ad was for Hoffman Fabric, which again wasn't listed on the back.
That was awesome.
But that one was like one of my favorite genres on YouTube is like industrial processes. Like it's a thing that I love to watch, like food processing, technology, manufacturing, like all kinds of stuff. Those big machines. Yeah. It's really fun. And a lot of those are done like with promotional music and whatever. This was like that. It was a very like artsy, almost music video shot video that showed the entire process of making handmade batik fabric. like all the way
amazing.
from like the end of the weaving process through being cut up into pre-made quilting blocks.
Yeah.
Right? Like the whole process, all the dyeing and the batiking and how it has to be like hand scrunched and treated with chemicals and washed and like all these things, all set to this like weirdly uplifting music. Like it was very charming. I loved it.
Yeah. And it was this was not happening in a building. This was a cottage industry. All their machinery was being turned by hand. They were the fabric winder things. They were winding the fabric on.
Yeah, that was not a big industrial factory. That was some
No.
serious cottage industry somewhere in India, I'm assuming.
I think Bali.
Oh, okay, okay.
Somewhere in Southeast Asia has strong batik culture, but literally no two of those fabrics are alike. There's a guy with batik irons pressing the wax in by hand.
Yeah,
like ovens, and then the way they scrunch it, and it's like, this is artisanal fabric. Don't think just because it's made in a non-industrial setting that it's a sweatshop thing. These people were, obviously this was their family business. They were very proud of it. They were doing very well with it. And these little videos that were included with the sewing machine video are awesome in their own right. So
absolutely,
this whole package was just, if you've still got optical drive capability, get the DVD. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but stillstitching.com is where you'll find it. And they started with the history with Barthélemy Timonier, but they didn't spend too much time with that. They got kind of right up into vintage machines that people are interested in nowadays, which is about, they touched on some Grover and Baker, some of the oddball machines from the 1870s and stuff, but they get up right into the Singer 1566, the featherweight. They don't spend too much time on the featherweight. The 201, some Kenmores. They get up into the mid-century thing. And then, of course, all the amazing Japanese HA1 and JA1 Singer clones. And a very telling little bit at the end of the video when they're rolling the credits is that they invited ISMACs, International Society of Sewing Machine Collectors and Appreciators and people, blah, 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 blah. They invited them to participate, and ISMACs declined. Now, when I was a part of ISMACs in the early 90s, it's really concerned with deeply historical sewing machines. They don't want anything to do with Singer featherweights or Japanese HA1s. They're into the weird patent models and stuff like that. So ISMACs didn't participate. This is not a serious sewing machine history, archaeology of that kind of thing. This is like appreciators of your basic, the stuff that VSM people look for, vintage sewing machine people look for now, which is mid-century to back to about 1880, with an emphasis on Singer. And they got white rotaries. Oh my God, they showed an embossed white rotary bronze. I've never seen one.
Oh, there were so many stylistic choices I had never seen. Like I, worked for Mike, Stagecoach Road Sewing Machine, for a while, cleaning machines for him. Like that was part of the finishing up and the polishing process. It was very, very fun. And so I did get to see a lot of different kinds of sewing machines, but there were some stylistic choices in this video last night that I had never seen anything remotely like that. And the whole machine was embossed? What? Like, what?
Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen the black embossed white. I love white rotary. I think that is one of the, back in our rotary episode, I talked about how cool the white rotary was. And I've seen a black embossed one, but this collector had a bronze embossed one, and she actually ran it for us. It had the really scary old wiring on it. But that distinctive sound of a pulley motor, which is like something that you don't hear anymore. There are no machines with pulley motors anymore. Speaking of pulley motors, there was even an Elna Supermatic in there. They just had this amazing variety of machines. And I know a lot of machines, but there were new ones in there I had not seen. It was very, very cool. And each one of these 8 collectors, I just felt like, oh, you're my people. Can we go have a beer and talk about the full rotary?
Yeah, they were all so interesting and so into their stuff. And one thing I really liked about it was that each of them had come to sewing machine collecting in a very different way. When they all told their story of how they got into it, we had everything from, a person who had gotten into it as part of the family trade, all the way up through a person who was bored in their retirement and just picked it up a few years ago. There was people who got into it because they were sewers, and people who got into it because they liked fixing broken machinery. Like, none of them had the same approach. They were all very, very different in terms of why they had ended up at the same common spot, which I thought was really, really fun.
That's a great perspective. All this different. Yeah, the one fellow, he had the really New York accent.
Yeah.
He was an older guy. And he had been in the textile business, his family business, since he was 14, sewing for Jones, New York, or some high-end thing. And then he got into fixing the machines. And how cool is that? And then there was the one younger gal that I related to a lot. She had a lot of blue hair and tattoos and cool stuff, but she had
a lot of sewing tattoos specifically.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother thing. And she, as a tattoo artist, was her day gig, and she was actually tattooing a sewing machine onto somebody else. I thought I was the only one that had a sewing machine related tattoo. I've got some Singer filigree on the back of my neck. But she used all her machines. She knew what they were for. She knew what they did. And then there was that one older lady who's like somebody's 5th grade teacher, and she, like, her dad was in aerospace or something.
A car mechanic.
She learned machinery.
Yeah.
Car mechanic. Yeah. So she was taking stuff apart.
And taught her how to maintain her car as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then she had all the historic ones. She had the weird old historic ones.
Yeah. 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 And she had a quilt shop, and they were all displayed in there, I think.
Yeah, and she was also the one who was like, I took the motors off of some of these machines and made them back into hand cranks.
You put them back how they're supposed to be. I love that.
She was so great.
So this movie was overall, I'm definitely going to watch this over again. I'm going to watch it with Mike, our unofficial sponsor at Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine. I know he's going to want to pop up some popcorn and sit down and watch this one with me again. And if you're listening to this podcast, I know you'll enjoy this video.
Oh, definitely.
And I think the people that did this video would enjoy our podcast.
I hope so.
So we're going to contact them and say, hey, we reviewed your video. You might give us a listen, because we're into the same stuff, man. You know, like underground bands, man. They even had a Morse Photomatic 4 in there. I think I just about blew coffee out my nose when I saw that.
It was a fun experience to watch it with you, because obviously the people on the screen are all very knowledgeable and they know their stuff, and it's well edited, and it's just a great info dump of a show or of a movie. But then you, like, yelling at the TV about, this is right, that's wrong, spitting tea, oh my God, name this. And it was very fun to have the color commentary. It was great.
It was fun watching, like super niche. I mean, the production value, I am just so excited that these people, how many of these have been sold? This is like one of my audio CDs. I get a little bit of money every month from Spotify, but I'm not going to be on any awards show. This video is probably like an independent CD. They made it for the love. They made it for the collectors. They did not make this video thinking they were going to make a whole bunch of money off it.
Oh, yeah. No, this is a labor of love for sure.
Labor of love makes it really, really special. Some of the stuff, I went to the website, and some of the things, this is some personal stuff here. When people get into collecting or obsessed about anything, that can really easily tip into hoarding. Mm-hmm. And there were a couple of folks, or there's a couple of things on the website where people, they talk about the machines are an addiction. And, I finish one and I need to get another one. And whatever your hobby is, and textiles, quilter stashes are legendary. The whole organization in the little boxes thing. Sewing people tend to be accumulators of wonderful, colorful, useful things. Myself, twice in my life, found myself with a garage full of cast iron that, I would never have time, if I lived to be 110, to get all these machines running again. So I can't remember, one of the guys in the video says you learn how to specialize and just pick the ones you really want, instead of just going out and buying every old sewing machine. The hobby itself as a hobby is very young. And some people are still into I'm just going to go buy every sewing machine I can get, which makes it really hard to find any decent machines in thrift stores now. Like chain thrift stores. I mean, Goodwill, St. Vincent, Salvation Army, Value Village, those are picked over. Look for vintage sewing machines at yard sales in old towns.
Estate sales
Where senior citizens have passed on, that kind of thing. And in the video, so many people come back to I need to save them. They're too good to be thrown away. Yes, that's true, but there were millions made. You cannot save them all.
And as it gets pointed out in the video, many of them have actually come out of dumpsters and then been returned to full functionality.
Absolutely.
So they maybe don't need saved. They're kind of unkillable unless you really try.
The really sad thing is the one guy in the video, Will McCann, I think is the guy. He does a lot of talking in the video. You kind of just hear the sorrow in that he's got all these wonderful machines and fixed up. And like a lot of these folks, we just give them away when we're done. We want to see them be used. But the sad thing is, people just don't sew much now. They get the clothes from factories.
Mm-hmm.
There are enough machines for everybody that wants one times 12.
Right.
They're just, because as explained in the video and as we talk about here, these things were designed to be forever, especially before World War II. These were designed to be an investment that you pass down. It was an important thing, and now it's just not important to people. And you can see that sorrow in the eyes of the collectors. My God, I found this useful, wonderful, beautiful thing. I'll even give it away, but nobody wants it.
Right.
So we have to close ranks here. Wait till the zombie apocalypse and you guys want to sew.
No, it's true. If you are in search of a sewing machine, look no further than your nearest sewing machine collector, because they are probably literally giving them away.
Oh my God, I was commenting on something completely unrelated. Somebody had found an old linoleum rug in their farmhouse. Linoleum rug. It's a piece of linoleum, and it had a little town. So it was like something you would put in a kid's room. Like the pattern was little roads and trains and houses, and your kids could run there. And the train was a certain model. Okay. Of course, somebody says, "Oh, hey, that's a Model F, so this has to be from 1950." And the next commenter's like, "Some people call it rail fanning, some people call it autism." And I chime in with my favorite locomotive is GP38-2 and sewing machines here for ASD for the win. And then people are like, yes, 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 yes.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess that some of the people in this video are somewhat on the spectrum, because the intensity of knowledge and collector vibe and minutiae, and there's a couple of folks on there that said they're actually retired engineers, so we know that.
Yeah, no, the joy coming through the info dumps is pretty unmistakable.
That's it. This is one beautiful, visually ravishing info dump by interesting, fun people talking about our favorite appliance, the sewing machine. Thanks for joining us today on Used to Sew. We were reviewing this really awesome video that I just got called Still Stitching. It's a collector and restoration specialist sharing their passion for vintage machines. I highly recommend that you get this video and watch it. Very worth your while. You can find it at stillstitching.com. Now, we don't have any financial interest in this. They don't even know we're reviewing this. Maybe we'll get brave and say, hey, we reviewed your movie, but we loved it. It's awesome. You'll probably like it too if you've stuck with us this far. See ya! Stay threaded.
Bye-bye. And there you have it. Our first ever movie review. We watched the full-length documentary Still Stitching by New Savvy Productions, oohing and aahing over beautiful vintage sewing machines and the delightful people obsessed with them. We got to see weird old machines from the early days that still worked, up through the mid-century moment when planned obsolescence began to take an unmistakable toll on design quality, all polished and oiled and running smoothly like the precision machines they are. It was a great way to look back on the conversations that we've had so far on this podcast and see how they fit into the larger vintage sewing machine hobby, and to understand where we fit in the ecosystem of enthusiasts. As a reminder, we are unofficially sponsored by Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, who do repairs and restorations. You can follow us and them on Facebook and Instagram, and you can support us by sharing the podcast with your friends, and also with money at patreon.com/used2sew. Thank you for listening to us here at Used to Sew. We always welcome your additions, corrections, and feedback in general. Please reach out to us via email at usedtosew@gmail.com. Used to Sew is a production of Fox and Raven Media. For more podcasts from Fox and Raven Media, visit our website at foxandravenmedia.com.